Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. Hope everybody's doing good. Hey, hope y'all had a good weekend or having a good weekend. Hi. Hello. Hi there. Welcome on in. Sorry for the scuff in the music in the beginning. I was like, let me skip these ones that aren't actually songs. And then I was like, ooh, which game was this song from? And then I clicked in the wrong spot on Spotify and I skipped to the next one. And then I was like, I'm just gonna not touch this. Sorry. It happens, but we're here. And then I also tested the ice cream, our little ice cream gimmick that we have for the channel points, or if you know the secret password to order ice cream. Because I reactivated the thing to where it tells us when it's ready to order again, because it needs like 10 seconds in between them to, what's it called? Be ready to recognize the next one, I guess you could put it that way. So you can't do them back to back to back. It does, like, it can't keep track of it. So hopefully it worked. I don't know. It seemed like it was okay. We shouldn't be getting too many of those to the point that it gets annoying. So I think we're okay. But anyway, welcome on back to the stream, y'all. Happy Saturday. Happy Ace Attorney Saturday. As usual, we are in the middle of case 3, which we started last week. I think it was. Yeah. All right, I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah. Started case 3, episode 3, shall we? Which is about desserts. I love desserts. We love desserts here. We are dessert fans. We are dessert connoisseurs, if you shall. So, definitely having a good time in this. And then we had, like, the fake lady who was like, I'm just a fan and I really wanted to eat his dessert, so I, like, faked it till I made it, and for some reason I made it, and I'm just like, I respect it, but I'm annoyed about it at the same time. And then now it's like linked to the case that Edgeworth's dad worked on with Eddie Fender, and now one of the other contestants is now our victim in the present day. So we're trying to solve that, and we still had the ever-annoying, stuck-up Judge Gavelle and her... What's another way to say prima donna? A newbie who's, like, thinks too highly of himself. So, we're still gonna deal with them. They're not my favorite villains from this series, but, like, they're, like, endearing comic relief, I guess. So... I don't know, if they get good character development, it could be pretty funny, but so far they're just like, they're a little one-dimensional right now. So we'll see how it goes. I got my cat cup. Right now it's got sangria in it, but I'm gonna put tea in it after I finish the sangria. I did actually add a little bit of tea to the sangria to see if it sweetens it less. I say that knowing of a marshmallow floating in my sangria cup because it's tasty. And I've loaded up on water, so we're pretty good to go. We're gonna try to go for about 3-ish hours today. I do want to watch some GDQ, so we're not gonna go as long as usual. It is gonna be technically shorter, because normally we try to go for like 4 or 5 hours, sometimes 6 hours if we're feeling really good for Ace Attorney. But usually more around 4 or 5, so it is gonna be shorter than normal. All right, anyway. April 2nd, 12:05 p.m. The Zodiac Hall, Autumn Wing. They sure are taking their time. I thought this was supposed to be a 10-minute recess. Sorry to keep you losers waiting. But wait no longer. I won the race to find Delisha Scone, and here she is. Hello, dears. This lovely young man said you wanted to speak to me. Delisha Scone, purveyor of the most wondrous wares a pharmacist can offer at your service. Delisha to my pals, and even Miss Delicious to some. You can call me the winner, and I'll call you whatever I want. Oh, he just screams loser. All right, Winnie Pooh, whatever you say. It's lovely to meet you, dearie. So much for the call me the winner.
Oh, have we met before, young man?
Interlude in this, Delisha. That's Miles Edgeworth, Gregory's son.
Well, I never. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mousy Smiles.
You must address me by my given name. Just Miles will do.
Greggy Peckerlegs, boy, and all grown up too. Make me feel my age, why don't ya?
Just how old she is. She hasn't aged a day though since the past, so gotta say that's impressive.
Eustace, I believe we have some questions for our pharmacist. Oh yeah. What brings you to the gallery today, Miss Scone? Why, I came to see dear old Moody Judy, of course. We've been fast friends for 18 long years, and no one's going to stop me from visiting her now. I understand that you helped look after Mr. Gusteau in the immediate aftermath of the attack. Oh, I didn't do much really. Just whipped up a quick antidote for the dear old doctor.
Oh, right, she's a pharmacist, that's why. So she probably knows medicine pretty well. Or how to make a poison. Wow, you can make an antidote just like that? I guess it's weirder that she had things with her.
Oh yes, dear. As long as I have the right ingredients, I can throw together just about any medicine you like. It certainly helped that the medical room was well equipped, though.
Oh, okay, she just pulled some stuff there.
You're much better off treating him here than losing vital minutes taking him to the hospital. Anyway, we did what we could. The rest, well, that's up to him. And do you know the victim, Miss Delicious? Oh, yes, well, sort of. It's been 18 years since I last saw him. Apparently he's famous these days. One of the best confectioners in the world, or so they say.
He made the pull sugar seahorse. It was supposed to be a dragon, right? That was him?
Interesting. So he's a well-known public figure? Oh, yes, dear. He was on the news and everything. Confectionery crafting king of the world, they say.
Oh. So he's the new top. With, So, I don't know if anybody's in here. Yeah, we don't have because he's from the past. But Samson Tangaroa. So Samson Tangaroa used to be the top king of confection around the world, and she was like his assistant slash maid, kinda like servant, and like I'm pretty sure that she's like the one behind all this shit because she's probably jealous as fuck that like he was getting the limelight and she was like doing a lot of the work. Share credit with your assistants. That's all I can say. So anyway, they murdered a competitor and shoved him in Samson's, like, into his piece, his showpiece, in the past 18 years ago. And then these two were there. She's a fan, and he was just another competitor, although he kind of sucked, TBH, back then, but he's probably gotten a lot better now. 18 years is a lot of time to gain experience. Yeah. Actually, I guess it wasn't that bad. It was just bad when if he told you what he was trying to do, but like, if you didn't know what it was, it looked kind of okay. Kind of cute. Didn't know what he was going for. It was kind of fine. So. Alright, see where this goes. Well, so the old dog really went to Jangfa and upped his game just like he said he would. Perhaps if we could proceed to the matter at hand, Miss Scone. Are you familiar with the substance known as Insecticide Ultra? Of course, dear! You use it to get rid of you-know-whats. Oh, it's awfully strong, though. That's why they don't sell it in the shops. Might I ask what you mean by you-know-whats? The little blighters that frighten the life out of the poor innocent ladies like
yours truly, that's what. Ghastly little creatures, running around people's nice clean kitchens and terrorizing them. Oh, I get it. Those. Thank you, Miss Scone.
Roaches.
One more question, if you don't mind.
Which, to be fair, roaches fucking live through everything. You need something that strong to get rid of them sometimes.
Are you aware of what happens when the chemicals asphyxion and ubiquium are combined? Oh, yes? It's right there in the infesticide ultra instructions. Do not mix with products containing ubiquium, ever! Because if you do, they react with each other and make a horrible poisonous gas.
Hey, did you know that there's cleaning chemicals that do that too? Not gonna talk about what, but don't mix things that you're not supposed to.
What was it again? Effects of inhalation include respiratory complications and, well, death. Poor old Gusty very nearly didn't make it. Oh, to make that much gas, you'd need to, probably 500 ml of each chemical, I'd say.
Milliliters. Certainly talks like a skilled pharmacist.
Becomes awfully thick and sticky, and it heats up very quickly indeed. It's also bright red and smells minty fresh. Oh, and cheap as chips. That's why they use it in everything. Asphyxion's more watery and it's white in color. That'll do, thank you. You're clearly well informed, Miss Scone. As well I should be, dearie. After all, Infesticide Ultra is made by the company I worked for.
Ooh, that does not... I don't hate you, but like... I respect you because you're a fan, and you faked it till you made it, so gotta respect the effort. Even if I don't like that you did it, gotta respect the effort. But anyway, that's probably not the right thing for you to be saying at this exact moment, because you're gonna get accused of murder. Just saying, it's probably a bad idea.
Oh, but before you get the wrong idea, they don't go around handing out free samples. As I say, it's awfully terribly dangerous. You couldn't buy it even if you wanted to. Yes, Miss Scone, very interesting indeed. I think that tells us all we need to know.
They're gonna jump to conclusions because they are shit prosecutors. Well, actually, she's a judge, which is even more worrisome. I feel like as a judge, the last thing you should be doing is jumping to conclusions. Yet here we are. Strange. I thought she suspected Miss Scone. Something in that smile makes me wonder if she has some other angle in mind.
What is it, Detective? Detective Flatfoot? Any developments to report?
Yes, sir. Turns out the sculpture's glass display case is open from the top.
Huh. That's rather unusual.
And the temperature inside can be adjusted too, all the way down to 0 degrees. A Pisces case was kept at 26 degrees. Dang near got my hand stuck to it.
Well, lucky you escaped alive. Anything more relevant to the case?
Yeah, they found something on the underside of the top part of the Pisces case. Traces of ubiquium.
Oh-ho! Now we're talking. That's odd. If there was ubiquium stuck to it, it should have stayed stuck. After all, at 26 degrees, it would have been frozen solid. It would, huh? So how did things wind up as they are now?
I think Kay might be able to help us figure out just that. Or at least Mr. Thief might.
You guys are that desperate to get on my good side, huh? Fine, I don't know what the heck you're talking about, but take it away.
Can't believe I'm taking orders from this guy, but whatever. Anything for the truth. This is why she sucks! We hate you, Gavel.
Before you get too carried away, the Goddess of Justice has no need of your help. We will find the truth ourselves.
Youch, why so frosty, Judge G? Your baby prosecutors just gave us the big thumbs up. What's the issue here? Ooh, wait. Don't tell me the committee has some dirty little secret it doesn't want us finding out.
I am not required to explain myself to you. But if you feel that you absolutely must participate in the investigation, perhaps you can prove to me that it will be worth our while to keep you around.
What exactly does she have in mind here?
Who triggered the release of the poison gas? If you can answer this question, I will consent to your participation in the investigation. You heard the lady's smiles? Somebody opened the Pisces case and let out that gas. Considering what we've learned so far, there's only one person who could possibly be, no?
Yes, the answer is indisputable.
In that case, please kindly provide it now. Who released the poison gas?
I'm assuming that the victim actually accidentally did it. He was in here doing God knows what. I don't know, I just work here. I'm just a visitor, actually. I don't even work here. Having breathed in poisonous gas was found collapsed outside the autumn wing.
Take that!
The victim, Carmelo Gusteau, is the only person to have entered the autumn wing. Thus, only he could have opened the case.
Correct. That appears to be the only logical answer. Very well, I will permit your participation in this investigation to continue. However, at any point I feel you are contributing nothing of value, you will be removed. Immediately.
Understood. Even if Mr. Gusteau did open the case, we still have no idea why.
All right, Mr. Edgeworth, tell me what you want to see.
Let's use the data we've collected to recreate the scene before the poison gas went off.
On it. Eek! Don't scare me like that! So, this is what you were talking about, your Mr. Thief.
Let's begin by examining the Pisces sculpture. There's a generous amount of ubiquium frozen to the underside of the top part of the case.
Yeah, which is why which is what's keeping that lid on real tight.
The actual glass lid is all cracked though, right? Somebody really went to town on your little house there, huh, Pisces? Do we have any idea of how the glass lid might have come to be so cracked? Well, it doesn't look like the outer facing side of the glass suffered any damage. I see. So we have a cracked piece of glass that we know was ice cold on its inner facing side. And we also know that it wasn't damaged in any direct way on its outer facing surface. Thoughts? Ice cold? Makes me think of the way you glare at people, sir. Rude.
Cracks makes me think about those deeply etched lines on your forehead.
It was cracked by heat expansion. Applying heat to the ice cold glass from the outside will cause it to crack.
Huh.
Well, I appreciate the science lesson, but why is it all heat cracked in the first place? Why, indeed, a heat-cracked glass lid lined on its underside with frozen ubiquium. You look like the cat that got the cream, Mazzarino. You know what happened, don't you? I certainly do, and what's more, I know how Mr. Gusteau opened the case.
What? But you didn't give me a chance to figure it out first!
It would have been quite the wait. Not wrong.
Well, don't keep it to yourself, Edgeworth. I want answers.
How do you open the case? There's torches. There are signs it was used just before the police arrived, possibly to heat something. Blowtorch showed signs of having been used recently when it was found here in the autumn wing. I think it's likely that it was used on the glass lid, causing it to crack.
A blowtorch? Who uses a blowtorch to open a glass case? Oh, I get it. Mr. Gusteau was trying to melt the frozen ubiquium so he could open the lid.
Indeed.
You beat me to the answer by a second, but we'll see who wins in the end.
Don't try and tell us you nearly had it.
You didn't have a clue. Nuh-uh! It was Edward making things hard to understand!
Kay, would you mind updating the recreation so that Mr. Winner can follow along too?
Sure, just for him.
All right, here goes. I see Larry scribbling away, drawing all of this for us. So, I'm sure that'll come in handy. Mr. Gusteau was alone in the autumn wing. While he was in here, he used this blowtorch to melt the frozen ubiquium on the underside of the lid.
Uh-huh, and?
As the ubiquium melted, it mixed with the asphyxiant that was already present inside the glass case, thereby producing our poisonous gas. When Mr. Gusteau had finally managed to open the lid, he would have released the gas and poisoned himself. Made it as far as the fountain room where he collapsed.
So, he opened the case and out came the gas, huh?
Seems we got there in the end. Why the heck a doodle-doo did he want to open the case in the first place? Not sure. In fact, we don't even know what his ultimate goal was. I'm thinking he might have come here for the same reason I did. To check out the autumn wing, but not the autumn wing, but the winter wing. You remember, right? I thought this was where the winter wing was when we first got here, too.
Thought you too did it, my little lady lumpkin. I was ever so confused what with it being where Chili Wink's room was all those years ago. That's even the same little tree in front of the blessed door. Who wouldn't be all 6s and 7s, eh?
Did everyone involved with the IS-7 incident make the same mistake? Was it intentional, then, if that's the case? I think we need to go and take another look at the winter wing. Time to see how quickly I can convince Mr. Winner, I suppose.
Eureka! Ladies and gentlemen, I have the answer!
The answer to what, exactly?
The man was going to end it all! A dramatic exit stage left, sort of artsy-fartsy farewell!
Have you been listening at all this whole time?
At my level, I barely need to listen to a word, and I still understand exactly half of what's going on.
You don't think that maybe I'm just going out on a limb here. You don't think that maybe understanding only half would be a problem? Maybe you want to understand, I don't know. It's gonna be crazy. The whole thing.
Perhaps I can explain a few of the finer details to you later, Eustace. Winner's prerogative. Winner's. Sure. Thanks, Gavel.
Thank you indeed. I find it's always best to leave things like child wrangling to a professional.
In the meantime, don't you have something to tell us, Mr. Edgeworth and his friends? Oh yeah, I totally forgot.
What is it now?
I took the liberty of investigating our friendly pink pharmacist here. Or rather, I had one of my underlings do it for me.
That's nothing to brag about, you know.
Shut up! Can't you see I'm talking? Anyways, let's put a pin in my suicide theory for now. Yeah. I have something more important to tell you. It was Miss Delicious who set up the poison gas trap. Eek! How could you say that? I was greatly saddened to learn of this, Miss Scone. Your profession is one dedicated to saving lives, and yet you used your expertise to try to take one. I beg your pudding! Nathaniel, I did no such thing!
Perhaps you could explain, Mr. Winner?
You bet I can! Get a load of this! This is Miss Delicious's pharmacist license here. And it says right here that she's authorized to handle Infesticide Ultra. Valid under the law of the state of something through. Restricted toxins handler's license. Okay. Product that we have established contains asphyxian, one of the ingredients of our poison gas. Exactly! It's almost impossible for ordinary people to get a hold of that stuff. But Miss Delicious is no ordinary person. She's a card-carrying pharmacist. I didn't do it! This is all just a terrible misunderstanding!
Objection!
And that's not all. There was a bottle of Infesticide Ultra in the victim's pocket. And what do you know? It's covered in your fingerprints. I mean, oh shit, it's hers. She is trying to do work in a kitchen. She's a fan of confections and trying to do work in a kitchen. And she very clearly made it obvious that she's not a fan of bugs and creepy crawlies coming around in the kitchen trying to muck things up. Which is very fair. So it's like, if you have the means to solve that problem, you're gonna use it, right? Eek! We know that you and Mr. Bound took the victim to the medical room. Or Miss Bound, sorry. What better moment to slip the bottle into his pocket, No! There was only one person on the premises licensed to carry Infesticide Ultra, and that was you, Miss Scone. Furthermore, you are acquainted with Miss Bound, the owner of the gallery. Meaning you would have had access to the building and ample opportunity to prepare your trap. Or Miss Bound asked her to help get rid of the fucking roaches in the building, or supposed roaches. Probably asked her to, like, you know, lay it on some panels, not knowing what those panels would be used for. There could be plenty of explanation here. No, dear! Listen, you don't understand! That Infesticide Ultra was stolen from me! No, that's an explanation too. Lying will only lengthen your sentence, Miss Scone. I'm not lying! Oh, it's in my bag somewhere, I'm sure of it! What is she looking for? Probably some kind of report that the Infesticide Ultra went missing or was stolen. I'm sure that if for such a closely monitored chemical, they would do something like that, track it. So it's like, if you lost it, you'd have to report it. That's not it. And that's not it. Oh, look, you've got those tarps on you. That cloth looks familiar. Ah, here we go. I knew it was in here somewhere, look. What is this? There's something written on it, I think. No shit. April 1st, complaint filed. Offense, theft. Item stolen. Infesticide Ultra, 1 bottle. It's a crime report relating to a theft. A what? See, you silly billies, I told you somebody pinched it off me a week ago, no less. By which you mean to say that it was not in your possession at any point today? That's exactly what I mean to say. I think the bottle you found might be the one I lost. It was housed in my medicine bag, just in case, you know. I'm supposed to keep my bag locked up tight, but well, I'd forgotten my head if it wasn't screwed. I'd forget my head if it wasn't screwed on. And now, thanks to silly old me, someone's gone and mixed up a cloud of poison gas with the stuff. I see. But why on earth would you carry such a hazardous substance around with you? She hates bugs. It's a very reasonable reaction. Concern. Like I said, just in case, you never know when one of them might appear. You mean the gassy little creatures that run around in people's nice clean kitchens type of them? You could just roll up a newspaper and whack! One and done! Psst, well, what do I do now? Ah, of course. I think perhaps it might be wise to confirm the authenticity of the crime report just to be safe. It can't hurt to verify Miss Scone's story, after all. She may be lying to us. You are kind of a bitch. idea. All right, I'm gonna go give the precinct a call. Don't go anywhere.
So, Miss Scone might not be guilty after all. Indeed, she really were the one to set up the poison gas trap. And I highly doubt she would have used a method that directly implicates her. Yep. So, who do you think it did it? Who do you think did it, Smiles? Someone with knowledge of the victim's likely behavior, and the time and the means to prepare. Two factors which point to one very specific person. Oh yeah? And who might that be? Don't leave us hanging, big guy. Who had the means to steal the Infesticide Ultra and dress one room up to look like another?
Take that!
Surely only Miss Bound, the proprietor of these premises, could possibly have prepared it in such a way. I'm telling you, I think she was jelly. She's like, why don't I get the acknowledgement for being a master confectioner? What the shit? We'll need some solid evidence to support such a theory nonetheless. So it was her, huh? Strange, it's like he already knew. He probably suspected last time, too. Phew, nice shooting, Malzarino. I might have to make that associate position a permanent deal. Just not what I was hoping for.
Ahem, I'm back with results. The police have confirmed that the theft really was reported and logged. Which means we may have been a little hasty with some of our conclusions, team.
I mean that every single one of your conclusions proved to be hogwash.
No, I mean, we're only just getting started.
Oh, then what's our next move?
First we need to go and talk to Miss Bound.
And then?
And then I'll think about what to do after that. Eustace, Mr. Cousteau's real destination appears to have been the Winter Wing. Perhaps it would be worth having someone investigate that room more thoroughly. Oh yeah, we should totally do that. Flatfoot, go investigate the Winter Wing.
Ah, yes, sir. Oh, poor Gumshoe.
Cavell, we're going to talk to Miss Bound. Very good, Eustace.
I'll join you if you don't mind. April 2nd, 1:35 p.m. Zodiac Hall, Fountain Room.
All right, you have your orders. Go talk to Bound for me.
Hey, Mr. Winter? Aren't we gonna go talk to Miss Bound ourselves?
Sure, but I thought, why not let the grunts handle the grunt work, you know? Means I can just sit back and wait for their report. A winning strategy.
Spoiled little. He's so exhausting. I need a break. Huh? There's something in the fountain.
Eek! Whoa! It's a body!
What on earth?
Order in the court. Somebody call forensics.
Bad news, sir. Real bad news.
Order. I will have order, detective.
Well, the ice sculptures in the Winter Wing. They've all melted.
What? Huh? Say?
What is the meaning of this?
Now we have 2 victims?
Yeesh, talk about deja vu. Just like 18 years ago, even the ice is melted again.
Again?
This is like some weird rerun. Same people, same everything. I said it before and I'll say it again. This is no quinky-dink. You're with me, right, Malzarino? I am. And I think the answers lie in the IS-7 incident itself. In fact, I'm convinced of it. Great minds think alike. Alrighty then. Time for another trip down memory lane. Ooh, we getting another flashback? Alright, cool. Let's go see more about what happened. To be continued. We're gonna keep going. Ugh. This is lots of little parts and I'm kind of here for it. It makes things much easier.
I still can't believe the IS-7 incident was Gregory's last case, or that it's been 18 long years since. Murder at a confectionery contest, and one of the participants no less, Audie Frost.
Why did that body look suspiciously like Frost? Someone with the same hairstyle, perhaps? Or made up to have the same hairstyle?
They pulled his body out of a treasure chest that was a part of the Samson Tangaroa's chocolate tableau. He'd been hit in the head with a large rock salt lamp and was subsequently bled to death. Found the lamp hidden inside the candy castle Delisha Scone had made for the contest. And then, before anyone had the chance to investigate Mr. Frost's own room, all of his icy creations had melted clean away. "18 years ago.
December 24th, 9:05 p.m. Contest venue? Fountain room. All of Mr. Frost's work destroyed. Mr. Von Karma wasn't very happy. Told us to get out in no uncertain terms. So what are we doing now, Mr. E? Can't believe he just up and kicked us out. Von Karma's a total jerk. Now, Eddie. It was always the job of the police and the prosecutor's office to investigate the scene. Yeah, but he didn't have to talk to us like that. Who cares if we are cops or attorneys? We should all be working together to find the truth. Can't assume that everyone's aims are the same as your own. You may wish to expose the truth, but others might prefer to accept things at face value. Which way of thinking is right will depend on the person. I mean, I would think that ideally always the truth is right. With some minimal exceptions when the truth would be very hurtful mentally to somebody. In which case we gotta like weigh what's gonna be better for them in the long run. What we think will be better. And just do our best. It's like, I think I just read too many stories. There's like sometimes in stories where like telling someone the entire truth kind of like fucking breaks them and then shit just goes downhill really fast. But sometimes you withhold half the info. It's like, I ain't gonna lie to you, but I'm gonna maybe not tell you the full story. What if somebody innocent ends up behind bars because no one managed to uncover the truth? Yeah, that's a bad time to hide things for that purpose, yeah. It can happen. We're all human, police and prosecutors included. Which is why defense attorneys exist. Our job is to help people in just such situations. To be friends to the friendless. Friends to the friendless? Now, we may not be able to investigate the Winter Wing as hoped, but that doesn't mean we give up. You're right, Mr. E. I'm sorry. I should have thought more before I opened my big mouth. You're young, Eddie. You'll learn soon enough. I will, I promise.
Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Fender, you look like you could use a little pick-me-up. I'm afraid this is all I have, but please, by all means. Whoa, you're the best, Miss Bound!
Tangaroa's favorite, handmade by Bound. Rather misshapen and incredibly sweet. Chocolate's okay? Thank you. A little sugar boost might actually help, although these are a little too sweet for my liking. And a little uniquely shaped.
I'm sorry if they're not to your taste.
No, wait, they're great. They're so sweet.
You're very kind. Imagine me, of all people, a mediocre confectioner. What? You mean you made these yourself? Yes, Samson loves chocolates, or so I had to learn. Keeping him supplied with his favorite treats is just one of my many duties. Although he does spend most of his time coaching me on how to improve my technique. Mr. Tangaroa sure is a lucky guy. Getting to eat homemade sweets made by the one and only Judy Bound whenever he wants sounds amazing. I'm sorry, did you say something? Nope, nothing at all.
Dear sweet Eddie, you really do still have a lot to learn. Seems you're quite committed to the work you do for Mr. Tangaroa, Miss Bound.
Of course! What right would I have to stay here otherwise?
What do you mean by that?
I was abandoned as a baby, and Mr. Tangaroa took me in.
Oh, she wants his fortune. She's probably the inheritor. That makes sense why she has everything now.
That's right. One snowy Christmas Eve many years ago, he found me on the steps of this very mansion. He saved my life and became the father I never had. I can never repay him, so my work for him is the least I can do, and I'll be here for him for as long as he needs me. That's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard.
Must be getting old. Welling up a little myself.
And to think, today is Christmas Eve, and I can't even give him his present in person. I'd do anything to save him, anything! Please, if there's something I can do to help, just say it.
Very grateful, Miss Bound. Perhaps you could help us by answering a question. Did you know the victim?
Not very well, I'm afraid. Oh, but if you wanted to see some of his work, I have a picture of the sculptures he made for the final. The final.
She recreated them pretty damn well. My, they're stunning.
Aren't they? I think they're masterpieces. Who would have thought you could make such an intricate statues out of flavored ice? Samson adored them too.
Oh, hey, that's Taurus and Gemini, right? Didn't know you were keen on constellations and the zodiac, Eddie. Oh, I love it. The stories those stars can tell. Take Gemini, for example. See the lyre? That's what the harp is called. And the arrow and the... Hold up. Lyre doesn't have any strings. Huh. Did Mr. Frost forget to add them, maybe? It's probably still a work in progress at this point. Maybe.
That doesn't sound like something you'd forget to do.
Wait, really? But I thought you just said you didn't know him very well.
Oh, well, he didn't seem like the type.
Seems she's got something to hide too. Does she know that he is Paul Halik? My suspicion is that he's Paul Halik because he had the stamp, the seal. So maybe they're in cahoots and then she killed them for some reason. I don't know. We're making guesses at this point. Took the photograph yourself, Miss Bound?
Yes, I used this instant camera here. It develops the picture as soon as you take them. It's so useful.
I miss old school Polaroids. The new one just ain't the same. I talked a little bit about it last time, but it's because they lost the original recipe for the film, so kind of... They're working on it, they're trying the best, but it's not the same, man. Ooh, I'd love to see it in action.
Then why don't I take your picture? Oh yes, come on, Mystery. Let's get a shot of the both of us.
Well, alright then. Be ashamed to waste a good hair day.
Really? Say cheese. There, all done. And the picture's yours to keep, Mr. Fender. Oh my gosh, thank you so much! That's such a cool camera. Well, it's the only one we've got, so we use it for all our picture-taking needs. It's very convenient, but the lack of negatives is something of a shame.
So there aren't any negatives for us to reference, huh? Assume that Mr. Tangaroa used the same camera during the contest?
Yes, you assume correctly. He used it for some work in progress pictures of his seascape. And later to take some photos of the other contestants' work.
But didn't you take a picture of the body when you discovered it? And didn't you discover the body while the judging was still underway?
Ah, yes. Samson wanted pictures of all the entrance completed rooms. But the film ran out just as he finished photographing Mr. Gusteau's work. So he asked me to go put in a new cartridge. He seemed to think there should have been more shots left than there were.
In other words, the film ran out sooner than expected?
Yes, the number of shots he took didn't line up with the number of shots remaining. But he thought maybe he just lost track somewhere along the way.
But how do you really, though?
I went to our living room area to change the film and was passing through the fountain room on my way back. When I heard the sound of something break and collapse in Samson's room. Samson, are you here? In here? Mr. Frost's body was just lying there. I was in total shock. It was all too much. But I remember I called the police and then I went to tell everybody else. And the camera, it's been with me ever since.
I see. I'd be grateful if you could lend us the camera in this picture, Miss Bound.
Of course! Here you go.
Thank you. Takes photos that develop instantly. A new film cartridge has 20 exposures, but there are only 3 remaining. Photo of Frost Sculptor is taken by Judy Bound. When did she have time to go take that?
Detective Bad, Miss Scone, are they done investigating?
I need to look at the camera. No, I can't look at it. You can look at this. Interesting. Alright.
They're done with me, that's for certain. That big meanie told me to clear off. Honestly, that mannequins will be the end of me. The cheek of him.
Guess I got tired of people cluttering up his crime scene.
He run you off too, Detective Bad?
Yeah, Von Karma seems to think I'm a nuisance. Can't do things his way with me around. Why would Mr. Von Karma go so far as to exclude his own lead detective? Still, got a pretty good look at the scene. As for Gusteau, he's enjoying a nice little chat right now in Frost's room.
What about?
About the fact that Miss Bound said she saw him going in there during the contest. Mr. Gusteau went into Mr. Frost's room?
That's right, and I have to say he looked very much like he didn't want to be seen. I don't know what he could have been up to.
Well, he's candidate number 1 at the moment. The guy who melted Frost's work. Oh, as the guy who melted Frost's work. But is that really why Mr. Gusteau went into Mr. Frost's room? Got a photo of the room right here. If you need it, it's all yours. Wait, what? Why would you just give it to us? I gotta spell it out for you, kid. I'm offering to help you guys. I want the truth about this case to come out. Detective?
Really, Detective Bad? Mr. Von Karma won't be happy about this.
Yeah, well, I'm not Von Karma's stooge. If he's gonna stonewall my investigation, then I'm not gonna play by the book either. Can't let some pesky rules keep me from finding the truth. Now, can I? Mr. Edgeworth? Indeed. Thank you, Detective Bad.
Wow, I can't believe you won him over, Mr. E. I haven't the focus what you're all going on about, but here's 2 new friends, eh?
It's definitely nice to have a good detective on our side, that's for sure.
Aw, runs in the family.
Aww. Gregory has Detective Bad, and as Edgeworth, we have Gumshoe. Alright, let's take a look at that photograph. here. Hold on, I'm ready to pour tea. Delicious tea. This is what Frost Room looks like right now. Yikes! There's nothing left of his flavored ice sculptures but puddles. The floor appears to be completely covered in a pale blue liquid. I should compare this with the photo I just borrowed from Miss Bound. I assume that the unplugged power cord has something to do with all this. Yeah, once that was out of the socket, the display case has lost power, and up the temperature went. Looks like they were all connected, the same power strip. You have any idea when it was unplugged? Nope, still working on that. Those sculptures were beautiful. What a waste. Who could say that again? I should have taken a few more bites out of them while I had the chance. So, they tasted good? Did they ever? I never tried ice so scrumptious in all my life. Really? Man, I wish I could have had a bite. It is scrumptious except for the salty bit, of course. That was unbearable. Salty bit? It's in the other photo you've got there. This bit, the harpy thing. She ate the fucking strings? That explains a lot, actually. Gemini's liar. Wait, that's why it had no strings? Because you ate them? I didn't eat that much, you cheeky little devil. I told you it was all horrible and salty. Our sculptures were scrumptious, except for the liar, which was salty. It's interesting that only one particular part of this one particular sculpture tasted different from the rest. Yeah, that's unusual. That shouldn't... That's not something you would do. Could somebody other than Miss Scone really be responsible for eating the rest of the strings? Did you notice anything else, Miss Scone? Come to think of it, I did. It was a funny little mark on Chillywing's work. It was 2 little letters. Let me see if I can draw it for you. There we go. Yes, it looked just like that. Yep, he's this dude. Paul Halik. It's almost like a signature or something. Wait. I just knew Mr. Frost wouldn't have made that hop without strings. He's not the type to skip an important detail like that. I tripped a little bit right there, but that's okay. Hope you don't mind me asking, Miss Bound, but are you certain you didn't know Mr. Frost particularly well? What? No, I barely knew him, I swear. She is so fucking shifty right now. Look at her dance. That's so. You certainly seem to have some strong opinions about his attitude toward his work. No, I just... The sculptures were so carefully made. I didn't think he'd missed something so important. Sorry, but I don't believe you. You have a more personal connection to his work than that. Oh, what makes you say that? I have an item of evidence that appears to have been one of Mr. Frost's possessions. And it shares a key feature with another piece of evidence. Well, I won't know what you're talking about if you don't share. So what are these 2 pieces of evidence of yours? Which 2 items point to Mr. Frost? This is the first.
Take that.
Now the second.
Take that.
Miss Scone found 2 letters carved into Mr. Frost's ice sculptures. I think they were a signature of sorts. After all, it's not unusual for an artist to initial their work. I guess not. That's right, dear. It's just like you said. Chillywing statues had the letters PH carved into them, plain as day. PH? Shouldn't it be AF? You'd think so, but take a look at this. It's a seal we found at the crime scene. It seems reasonable to assume that it fell from Mr. Frost's pocket. When pressed into the surface of an item, it would leave behind the letters PH. The same pottery mark we see imprinted on the bottom of the items in the tea set. Same pottery mark. We've already established that the tea set is the work of the sculptor Paul Halik. From that, we can assume that these same letters would mark any item out as a piece of his work. A fact of which you are well aware, correct, Miss Bound?
Well, yes, I know that he was always marks his work with his initials like that. He's never revealed his true identity in public, so it's the only way to know his works are truly his.
You mean Paul Halik was... That's right, Detective. Artie Frost had another identity. He was no ordinary confectioner, at least as far as Miss Bound was concerned. But you see, Mr. Frost was in fact a famed sculptor. Mr. Frost was in fact none other than the famed sculptor Paul Halik. What? Mr. Frost and Paul Halik were the same person? I'm telling you, it kind of got obvious once we were like, oh, this thing is next to his body. Well, it's not like the mark's hard to copy, though. Anyone who's seen it could fake being him with it. Not exactly conclusive proof. Frost was who you say he was. It's proof enough for Miss Bound. What matters is that she believed it. His true identity will have to be investigated by the good people at the precinct. All right. I'll have the boys look into it.
I should have known I couldn't hide it from you, Mr. Edgeworth.
So you admit it, you were aware of who Mr. Frost really was?
I was. When I discovered his body, I saw the seal you found. Don't ask me how, but I just knew straight away that he was my dear Paul Halik. Imagine, his entire entries in a confectionery contest were his final legacy. A great man like that.
And be honest, did you enter Mr. Frost's room at any point?
What? Why are you asking me that?
A photograph of Mr. Frost's room. I'd like to know when it was taken.
I must have gotten it mixed up with the one Samson took during the judging.
Objection!
I'm afraid I find that rather hard to believe. You said yourself that the camera ran out of film during the judging. And that you had had charge of the camera since before Mr. Tangaroa had a chance to visit Mr. Frost's room. That's how you were able to take that picture when you discovered Mr. Frost's body.
I suppose so.
It suggests that you took only 2 pictures with the new film, one of Mr. Frost's body and one of his room. But I have a piece of evidence that says otherwise.
You do?
Which piece of evidence contradicts the assumption that Miss Bound only took 2 pictures? The camera.
Take that!
Camera?
You gave the picture of the body to the police and the picture of Mr. Frost's room to me.
Oh, and you gave us that picture you took of me and Mr. Edgeworth, too.
3 photographs in total, and yet the film cartridge in this camera only has 3 exposures remaining. Out of a total of 20. You took more pictures, and I want to know what of. I'll need to see all the photos you took. Perhaps then we'll finally learn what you were really up to.
I'm so sorry. I confess, I've been lying to you.
These are all shots of Frost's room.
I'm so sorry.
Looks like she took pictures of his work from every possible angle. When they were taken, the ice still hadn't melted yet. Wait, don't tell me. Was you?
It was. At least, I'm pretty sure it was.
You are? Why?
Well, you see, I'm a huge fan of Mr. Halik's work, as you know. I was petrified that they might be ruined, what with the investigation that was going on and everything. So I thought I should at least capture the sculptures on film for posterity.
And how did that make them melt?
I think perhaps I was so intent on getting the perfect photographs that I might have tripped over the power cord without noticing.
By mistake? Are you sure?
I didn't notice it at the time, but, well, how could I have been so careless as to cause the loss of his final masterpieces?
That seems a little convenient to me. I'm not sure I believe it. But I'm not in a position to refute it either.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cause any trouble.
Please don't worry about it. The important thing is that you told us the truth.
Yeah, what he said. No hard feelings, Miss Bound. Thank you.
Mr. Edgeworth, picture's yours. Hope it helps. 2 photos, one from Bound and one from Detective Bad. Ah, you infernal nuisance is still here. You don't know when to give up. Linger for as long as you like. The answer is still the same. You are not a part of this investigation. Whether we're part of it or not, we'll uncover the truth nonetheless. Seems you don't know when to shut up either, but I commend you on your stubbornness.
Mr. Von Karma, I'm afraid I'm the one responsible for Mr. Frost's work melting.
What? What is the meaning of this?
I'm so sorry. And to you, Mr. Gusteau.
No concern of mine. I didn't do anything, and Mr. Von Karma agrees. Nothing at all, Mr. Gusteau. You went into Mr. Frost's room, didn't you? Perhaps you could tell us why. Sure, I was... Silence! You are not to give the attorney even the tiniest shred of information. Judy Bound, you're coming with me. I have reason to believe that you are an accomplice of the accused, Samson Tangaroa.
No,
I will be interrogating you personally, so you'd better get your story in order.
I understand.
Wait, please, I'm not done questioning her myself. Do you think I care because... Bad, Gusteau, and you, Scone. I have questions for all of you, and I expect answers. Trying really hard to remember what Gusteau sounded like. Fine by me.
Oh, you could at least ask nicely, mannequins.
Well, he just fucking took everybody. He took literally everyone with him! Indeed. Well, I suppose that means there's little point in us hanging around either. Perhaps it's time we get going anyway. It's rather late. I hope the snow was lit up.
Right, home time. Yes, my stomach's in agreement, too.
Alright, let's go grab a burger before my own stomach starts grumbling, too.
Sounds good to me. Let's eat up and rest up. We'll need to be fighting fit for tomorrow.
Well, indeed. Our first port of call will be with Mr. Tangaroa. Be continued. Ooh, that was another short section. They're jumping around a lot. Alright, December 25th, 10 o'clock a.m. Detention Center. Yeah. Visitor's room. Hey, it's Miss Bound.
Oh, Mr. Fender, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm so sorry about what happened yesterday.
She looks rather tired. Has Mr. Von Karma finished interrogating you?
Yes, though he really only seemed interested in how I melted those sculptures.
Are you here to see Mr. Tangaroa too?
Yes, I'm terribly worried about him.
Detective Bad, what are you doing back there? Just happened to be here. I'll be heading back to the scene soon. Not sure how anyone just happens to be at a detention center, but okay. Hey, your hair normally black? The fuck happened to you? Good morning. Mr. Tangaroa, what happened to you?
Oh no, Samson, what did they do to you?
They didn't seem to want to let me sleep. I had no idea interrogations could be so involved. Sorry if I seem distracted. I think I'm a little tired. I'm not letting you sleep? That's not police work, that's torture! What's going on here, Detective Bad? I'm not the one doing the interviewing. I'm the guy they put on the case before. It's the guy they put on the case before me. I like Von Karma's methods about as much as you do. Which is why I'm doing what I can to help. It's Detective Bad who got me out of there. I'd still be in that interrogation room right now. Weren't for him. Huh. Detective Bad really is trying to look out for Mr. Tangaroa in his own way, it seems. Alright, Eddie. Let's share yesterday's findings with Mr. Tangaroa. You got it, Mr. E. My notepad's at the ready. Mr. Tangaroa, we found out quite a bit if you'd like to hear it. Of course Thank you. You alright, Mr. Tangaroa? You seem kinda spaced out. I'm fine, I just think my blood sugar might be running a little low.
Samson!
Do you have anything that might give him a little energy boost? The fucking cursed ass chocolates. Oh. Alright, let's talk to him first. Mr. Tangaroa? Huh? You're kinda swaying all over the place. I'm sorry. Like I said, my blood sugar might be running a little low. Alright, we gotta give it to him. These are super suspicious, but okay. Huh? Is that chocolate? For me?
Oh, those are the chocolates
Wish I could just give them to you, Mr. Tangaroa. But the rules here don't exactly allow me to do so. Oh. It's a shame, but rules are rules, I suppose. Must be some way we can hand them to him. I hope Detective Bad is noting the meaningful looks in his direction. Let me take a look at them. They seem legit. I might consider passing them on to the suspect. Thank you, Detective Bad.
My hero!
Touched. Thank you, Detective. Yeah, whatever. Just sit tight. Here. You don't know how much this means to me. Yeah, keep it down, will ya? For both our sakes. Of course, Detective. I wouldn't wish to put your livelihood at risk. Now, to sample these treats. Detective, I apologize for putting you in a tight spot. Huh. I didn't do it for you. It was my call.
Guess you're not such a bad guy after all.
They went for the pun. Oh, the sweetness. I feel like a man reborn. Are they your handiwork, Judy?
Yes. How were they?
Feel them melt! Soft and smooth. Chocolate that'll comfort and soothe. Ear to ear, head to toe. Smile and savor the taste as it flows. All right. Delicious. They're not exactly beautiful, but they're sweet and oh so flavorful. Thank you, Judy.
I'm so glad you like them.
I'm glad you're back to your old self. My apologies, friends. The food they serve here is just so flavorless. Between that and the lack of sleep, I was about ready to collapse from sheer despair. Wow, is the food here really all that bad? Just the usual. French fries, ham sandwich, stuff like that. Yes, and yet, I couldn't taste a thing. Anyway, I'm heading back to the scene. Before you go, Detective, do you have any new information to share? Oh, yeah. You were right about the victim's identity. Frost worked as a sculptor in France, where he was known as Paul Halik. Hardy Frost was Paul Halik? I never would have imagined.
Poor Mr. Halik.
So, the famous French sculptor wasn't a Frenchman after all, huh? This all would certainly explain why Mr. Halik was such a recluse and refused to show his face in public. He was busy working on his greatest masterpiece, apparently. Bunch of Zodiac statues. Guess he'll never finish them now.
He never finished his greatest masterpiece?
Nah, seems he was making statues for each season. But he never got around to winter constellations. Are those the statues that are currently on display made to look like ice even though they're not ice? Except the ones in the winter? The winter constellations? You mean Taurus and Gemini? So the two he made out of ice would have completed the set.
Yeah, now they're nothing but puddles. What a bummer. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, Miss Bound, I wasn't blaming you. One last thing. Seems he had himself a bit of a spending habit when it came to his work. Every statue cost him millions to make. Damn! Which means he was always strapped for cash. We're checking to see if there's any chance someone called in a debt. I guess not even famous artists are safe from money problems. You have any idea why he entered the confectionery contest? None. Guy didn't even tell his family. See. Alright, I really gotta get going. I'll go fetch another guard, but I can't be hanging around here any longer. Understood, Detective. I'll see you again shortly. He's a good man. Certainly is. And an uncompromising one. Somebody who can be trusted to stand up for what he believes in. And to scare the pants off of anybody new he meets. Now, you were gonna tell me about what you learned yesterday? Of course, allow me to give you a full report. Thank you for that. And allow me to apologize on Judy's behalf.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine, Mr. Tangaroa. As I told her yesterday, the important thing is that we learn the truth in the end. Now, would you mind if I ask you a question or two? By all means, I'll gladly share all that I can. Let's talk about the contestants now. What can you tell me about the contestants who took part in the final round of the contest? Let's see. There was Miss Scone. I loved her design concept. Unfortunately, her entry was in violation of the rules, and so I had to disqualify her. Mr. Gusteau's creations were a perfect balance of flavor and design, at least up through the semi-final. But, disappointingly, his entry for the final was subpar on both accounts. And there was actually something a little unusual about his entry for the semi-final as well. Which was, it tasted identical to Mr. Frost's. Excuse me? May have looked different, but I could have sworn I was eating the same thing. Huh? What exactly did his work look like? Oh, there should be a photograph back at my mansion.
I'll show it to you later, Mr. Edgeworth.
Much appreciated, Miss Bound. Well, Mr. Frost's entry for the finals, that was truly sublime. Huh? So you were able to finish judging it? Even though his body had been discovered in the meantime? Yes, I wasn't aware of what had happened until after I'd completed my assessment. Mr. Frost wasn't in his room when I visited, so I took the liberty of sampling a bit. Part of the liar, I believe. I'd never tasted anything like it! It was like a dream! I was so moved that I burst into song! That's weird because it's supposed to taste like salt. I'm sorry, but are you saying the liar tasted good? I'd like to hear more about that if you don't mind. Look at my badge. Thank you for agreeing to represent me. A set of scales on my badge represents justice and fairness, Mr. Tangaroa. If you truly are innocent, justice will be served. We'll see to it that you get a fair trial. Until then, I'm gonna need you to sit tight and trust me. I will, and I do. Thank you. I have to show it to everybody. It's just the rule. Alright, let's talk about the liar. Or I could just, you know, keep missing the button. That's also one thing we could do. You're quite sure it was the liar you tasted when you sampled Frost's work? I'm certain of it. It was part of the Gemini sculpture, which was the only sculpture in that display case. Mr. Tangaroa, would you mind taking a look at this photograph for me? So the part you tried was the liar? The one shown here without any strings? Oh, there were strings originally. That was the part I ate. The strings were missing because Mr. Tangaroa ate them all? He enjoyed them? Scone told us she ate a part of the liar as well. She said it was far too salty for her to finish. And it's true. The truth is, I've suspected for a while that there might be something wrong with my sense of taste. Ooh, that's weird. Okay, wait, but hold on. If Gusteau's work tasted the same and it was ultra salty, that means Gusteau's shit has been salty this whole time, and he probably went in there and fixed up the strings. Try to sabotage. Not knowing, most likely, that Tangaroa's palate was off, maybe? Theory. We're just theorizing right now, of course. We don't know for sure. We don't know what's going on. No idea. Something wrong? How so exactly? There's a taste disorder characterized by an inability to detect salty flavors. And I suspect I've been suffering from it. I eat so many sweet foods on a daily basis that it took a while for me to even notice. But there's no denying it now. I'll explain why the food here seems so bland to him. What? But your taste buds are your livelihood! Even if there were some long-term treatment option, I highly doubt a total cure for your condition exists. Nevertheless, you should put in a request to the police for a proper evaluation. Oh, that won't be necessary. I have a recipe for a cure back at my mansion. You do? I do. You can take a look at it for yourself if you'd like. Samson, we can't show that recipe to just anybody. Judy, Mr. Edgeworth is hardly just anybody. He's my attorney, and I have no secrets from him.
Yes, you're right, of course. If that is what you wish.
What on earth is the secret recipe for a miracle cure that they've been hiding? Is it what's in the angel book? Is that why it's so valuable?
Well, I suppose I should be getting back. She's gonna go hide some evidence.
Alright, we'll be right behind you. Judy.
Yes, Samson?
Yes, there's more to life than just me. Please, Judy, think about the life you want to live. Because I won't always be around.
Don't say that! Without you, I don't have a life to live! So I'll be waiting, right there at the mansion, until you come home. Now, if you'll excuse me!
Wait, Miss Bound. Judy.
Oh, she seems really upset. I thought I saw tears in her eyes. Why'd you even say all that stuff to her?
Because I worry about her. She can't keep putting my needs ahead of her own. What do you mean? The Halik collection and the candy making. It's all because she thinks these things will make me happy. She never thinks about what she wants, what she likes. I just want her to be her own person and to choose her own destiny. The last thing I want is for her to miss out on all that life has to offer because of me. I guess that makes sense. I don't trust her. She still seems sus as fuck. He really does see her as his own child. What parent wouldn't want their child to walk their own path? What parent wouldn't do everything they could to protect them? I know exactly how he feels in this moment. I think I've asked of you everything I can for now, Mr. Tangaroa. We should be getting back to the scene of the crime. Okay, I have two thoughts right now. I have two conflicting thoughts. One is that she's sus as fucked and behind everything. Because she is hiding some shit, and I don't know what. And in the absolute worst case scenario, it's the fact that she wants to inherit everything and she fucking, like, framed him for murder. But the other possibility is this guy faked his death? He is a sculptor. And we did see someone who looks suspiciously like him in the fountain in the present. So he could have faked his death to, like... They could have been working together for some reason. I don't know. There could be some connection there. But anyway, so he could have been, like, the villain who kind of orchestrated a death to, like, get this guy in trouble. Possibly for money, because this dude was hard up for some cash. And then it could be that in the present, she found out and then put on the exhibit to lure him out, knowing that he was still alive, and then killed him. Two theories, very different. Well, maybe not super different, but a little different. So either she's like a super mastermind behind like everything, or she's innocent in the past, but guilty in the present. Should be getting back to the scene of the crime. Oh, you're leaving? I see. I suppose I'll be going back to the interrogation room for another session. Yes, well, we'll have to do something about that. You'll speak to the police for me? That too, but I'll be putting something else in place as well. An ace up our sleeve for when the time comes. I look forward to learning more. Counting on you, Mr. Edgeworth. We'll be back to brief you, Mr. Tangaroa, every day. And Judy, too. Thank you, Eddie. I'll look forward to it. Mr. Tangaroa, your interrogator will do everything in his power to extract a confession from you. I hate to see an innocent man suffer like this. But please, you have to do everything you can to hold out. If you can't, Mr. Von Karma will use that confession against you for as long as this case lasts. It will make it that much harder for me to save you. I understand, and I'll try. Won't give up until you're out of there, Mr. Tangaroa. You have my word on that. December 25th, 11:03 a.m. Contest venue, counting room. Detective Bad, thank you again for what you did earlier. Yeah, thanks a ton. Huh, what are you talking about? There's no need for you to be shy about it. Never mind that now. I'm guessing you two are back here, looking to investigate some more. We are indeed. We'll need something solid if we're gonna save Mr. Tangaroa. Well, I hate to break it to you, but apart from this room, the whole place is on lockdown. What? We need to see those other rooms! This is Mr. Von Karma's doing, I suppose. Who else? Haven't seen the autopsy report yet either. Guy's probably got a hand in that too. Don't expect to speak with anybody, except us cops and Mr. Bound. Or Miss Bound, sorry, Miss Bound. Everybody else is gone, and I doubt Von Karma will be handing out phone numbers. Is this all just a game to him? Why does he have to go so far? What's your plan of action, detective? Same as before. Do what I can to help you uncover the truth, like I promised. Have my gratitude.
Just you wait, Mr. Von Karma. We're gonna beat you and your bag of dirty tricks.
Detective, may we conduct a brief investigation of the area? Sure, but like I said, everywhere else is off bounds. Probably won't be seeing those rooms again. That's fine. As long as there's at least some way of continuing our investigation, we'll make do.
Time to look around.
Statues on the fountain depict cherubs enjoying some chocolate fondue. Paul Halik's work, apparently. Oh, he's a big fan of Paul Halik. Gotta hand it to him. They look so real. Detective, are you saying you have personally seen cherubs before? Attorneys. Always poking holes in people's words. What? Did I do something wrong?
He just wanted to say a nice compliment and you kind of fucked him over on it.
We could just talk to him. Let's talk about the case. Any thoughts on the case, detective? Officially, as a cop, my thoughts are... Karma's right about everything. But as myself, not happy. We need to investigate more. Here and elsewhere. Put a word in for you. With forensics. Ask the guy whatever you want. Much appreciated. I'm in your debt, Detective Bad. I didn't do it for you. I did it for the investigation.
Wanna look at my badge? Everybody needs to look at my badge.
Attorneys are bad luck. Nothing good ever happens with you guys around. Trample the scene. Jump to conclusions.
I could say that about prosecutors, honestly. You really think that of all of us? Me included?
Yes, but not a no either. Alright. Excuse me, may I ask what you're investigating?
Sir, I'm analyzing the fountain water to see what might be in it, sir.
And what'd you find?
Chocolate, and what looks like the kind of flavorings and colorings used in frozen desserts, sir. The composition of the chocolate seems to be the same as that as Mr. Tangaroa's work. And the flavorings and colorings match the profile of those found in Mr. Frost's ice sculptures. Interesting. So, yeah, the water from the rooms can flow out here, and then it ends up in the fountain.
Interesting. Those little rivers flow from all four artists' rooms right here to this fountain. Guess that's how the stuff from the melted sculptures wound up in there.
That's not all, sir. We've also found blood.
What? Why is there blood in the water?
Think back to our investigation of the murder scene, Detective.
Take another look at the scene in front of us, Detective. Very conspicuous pool of blood that should be here is clearly missing. You're right. Don't remember anybody mentioning they removed the blood along with the body. Ooh, we got dumped in the river.
Ah, that's how the chocolate ended up in there as well. Because the melting ice, that makes sense of how it got in there. The chocolate would have been a weird one. But if they took the block with the blood on it and threw it in the river, makes a lot of sense.
The victim's blood was mysteriously absent, as was the part of the chocolate chest it had pooled on. I believe that the blood probably belonged to our victim.
Take that!
Huh. Victim, huh? I'll have the guy compare it with the blood on the murder weapon.
Magic! Forensics is so fast and amazing! Power of science!
There's a match. The blood on the fountain. It's Frost. Why would someone want to send the victim's blood downstream and into the fountain like this? Frost blood was found in the fountain, but not at the scene of the crime. Sign shows which artist's work is on display in which room. From left to right, Mr. Tangaroa, Mr. Gusteau, Miss Scone, and Mr. Frost. Incidentally, this sign is also made from candy. Fuck. Okay. What are they gonna do with all this candy? Someone gonna eat it when the contest was over? Seems these instruments are used on Mr. Tangaroa and Miss Bound's TV show, Bacon Bop. There's some of the few things in here that aren't made of candy. Is it just me, or does the detective seem a little disappointed? Moment of your time, Eddie. Sure thing, Mystery. What's up? I'm just here to talk to you for funsies. Talk about the incident. Do you have any thoughts on the case? Hell, you bet I do! Mr. Tangaroa's amazing display being used to store the body? Miss Scolin's beautiful dreamscape being used to store the murder weapon? We're really seeing some beautiful things being used for ugly purposes on this case, huh? Suppose we are. And to make things worse, Miss Bounce seems super down. I asked if you had any thoughts on the case. I was thinking more about useful insights. Oh, sorry, Mr. E. Did I do something wrong? I worry about you sometimes, Eddie. Oh, Eddie. Look at my badge. A real attorney's badge! I'll have one of my own one day, just you wait and see. Just remember that the scales represent justice and fairness. It's not enough to simply wear the badge. Your job is to prove yourself worthy of wearing it. Yes, sir! And I should make sure to set a worthy example. He is edgeworthy. Alright, Eddie, let's talk about you! How you liking your first crime scene investigation, Eddie? Oh, it's great! I've been taking notes about everything, and I'm learning so much! I'm so happy you let me tag along, Mr. Edgeworth! So, you want to be an attorney, huh? You bet I do! I'd give anything to be a hero of justice, help us and fight for what's right! First time I saw Mr. E do his thing in court, I knew I'd found my calling. You know, cops look out for people too. Sure, but I want to be an attorney. Huh. Well, good luck to you. I had the feeling Detective Bad might be pining for an apprentice of his own. Aw, that's sweet. Is it Gumshoe? Is Gumshoe gonna be your apprentice? I need this to come full circle. There's a drum set here decorated to look as if it were made out of cakes. Must play it on Bacon Bop. Detective, about these drums. I already checked. There's nothing inside any of them. And no sign of anything having been put inside or taken out either. They're not relevant to the case. You've already done your homework, I see. Heh. May like lollipops a little too much. I'm no sucker. Alright. Fair. Hello? Authorized personnel only beyond this point, I'm afraid. Meaning what? I'm not authorized? Sorry, sir, no authorized personnel either. So nobody's allowed in? Let me guess, Von Karma's orders. Guy's really starting to grind my gears. Santa Claus statue. Is this made of candy too? That door leads to Tangaroa's room, so yeah, could be he made that thing too. Speaking of Santa, that reminds me, I still need to find a present for Miles. I want an attorney's badge. What if Mr. Tangaroa would make one out of candy for me if I asked? We gotta get him out of prison first. That's the door to Gusteau's room. Guess the candy reindeer is meant to show the way. Big antlers like that? Must be a bull. I think not. Male reindeer shed their antlers in the winter. Therefore, this must be a female. Thanks, Mr. Trivia. Attorneys. Damn, ruining everything, Mr. Know-It-All. I'm gonna teach you about reindeer in law school, detective. Oh, I guess that's fair. This is quite the trophy. Awarded to Tangaroa. First place, International Confectioners Association Annual Spectacular. It's made of candy. I guess it wasn't meant to last forever. Makes sense. Prizes, fame, none of it lasts forever, right? I doubt it's anything quite that deep. These trophies all belong to Mr. Tangaroa. They're not all for confectionery contests. Some appear to be for charity work. Testament to both his character and his professional achievements. Oh, what's this one here? Recognition of Bacon Bop's long-standing achievement in making children's dreams come true. So sweet, it's got me wanting to watch it. Scone's room is through there. It's marked by a snowman. A candy snowman by the look of it. Oh yeah? Well, I'll be. It's really sizing it up. He isn't thinking of making that into his next lollipop, is he? It's a Christmas tree made of candy. These candy statues have everybody on edge. Can't get in here. That's our scene ruined. Yeah, it would be pretty disastrous, I suppose. Is that why we need super ultra grade mega strength insecticide? Where does this elevator go? Second floor. Tangaroo and Bound live up there. Sounds like they live a pretty charmed life. Tea parties, candy making, that kind of thing. They even have a garden. Must be nice on a sunny day. That does sound nice. Perhaps they'll invite us when all this is over. You'd come, wouldn't you, detective? Don't get ahead of yourself now. I'm not in the habit of palling around with the attorneys. But I mean, you could. We could be friendsies if he wasn't about to die. There's a lyre here, and some maracas designed to look like ice cream cones. So well made that it's hard to tell what's candy and what's not just by looking. I'd reach out and touch them, but then I'd be disturbing the crime scene. Hands off, I already checked them out. They're real. Check them out how exactly? Did you manhandle vital evidence, detective? I didn't touch him. Oh, my hands at least. Oh, he licked them. Did he? Never mind, I don't want to picture it. He definitely licked them. Sometimes you gotta lick at the sticker. You do what you gotta do. It's all fair. Miss Bound, we're here to continue our investigation.
Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm so sorry about earlier.
She's still looking kind of down in the dumps, Mr. E. She must have been greatly taken aback by what Mr. Tangaroa had to say.
I found the photograph of the semi-final entries for you. Here, it's all yours.
Wow, Miss Scone sure knows how to make a cute cake. This is entirely edible, though. Interesting, though. Frost and Gusteau's look suspiciously similar. Like it was probably made by the same person. These are the same, the roses are the same, like it's got the same decorations. That's fucking weird. That's sus as hell.
Yes, Samson loved her design for that one. And he loved the designs and flavors of Mr. Gusteau and Mr. Frost entries too. Only problem was, as Samson mentioned earlier, they tasted exactly the same. However, their respective entries for the final tasted nothing alike, it seems.
Is there anything else of note that changed between the semi-final and the final?
Nothing major, but I guess there was one thing. Mr. Gusteau's son was always here with him throughout the contest. But he was nowhere to be seen during the final.
Why would his son come and hang out at a contest venue of all places? Who is the son? Sure you're happy for us to keep hold of this?
Of course! I hope it helps with your investigation.
Frost and Gusteau's creations had different designs but tasted the same. I wouldn't call that different designs. I would say different themed. One's a phoenix and one's a unicorn, so that's a slightly different theme, but the design work is the same. Which should not be the case.
Oh, and I also have the book containing the recipe for the cure Samson mentioned.
I've seen this book before. Was in the chocolate frame in Tangaroa's room.
That's right, he put it on display there so that everybody could see the grand prize.
What? The cure is in the ultimate cookbook? So it's not a book of dessert recipes, I take it?
Oh no, we told the contestants that, of course. But I guess nobody told you yet.
So the contestants all knew what the ultimate cookbook was this whole time. A book containing formulas for creating a cure for taste disorders and other chemical and pharmaceutical items. Oh. that does kind of explain what Miss Scone's doing here. She would be very interested in something like this. Okay. We'll stew on this for a little bit. We'll think about it. I'd like to hear more about the cookbook, if you don't mind, Miss Bound. Ain't no way. Ain't no way that's a coincidence. Hey, look at my badge, though.
That's an interesting badge, Mr. Edgeworth. Does it mean something?
Yes, it means that I'm an attorney. It's for easy identification purposes that I wear it.
I see. I guess that must be quite useful. Perhaps there should be a confectioner's badge, too. Or a murderer's badge. I'm sure that would save you a lot of trouble.
Well, they don't get badges, but they do get bracelets. Alright, let's talk about the Ultimate Cookbook. So, if I understand correctly, the Ultimate Cookbook's actually a collection of recipes for different medicines.
Exactly! Or rather, totally new medications that haven't made it to the market yet, to be precise. To the right buyer, a pharmaceutical company, for example, it would be worth a fortune.
We're starting to figure out more about what she's doing here. She's after the cookbook. What if he's the only... Either he's the only real confectioner aside from Samson in this contest, or there is no other confectioner. One or the other. But why make that the grand prize in a confectionery contest? Yeah, good question. Really.
Mr. Tangaroa is the sole heir to the Tangaroa family fortune. Perhaps you've heard of the Tangaroa Group?
The Tangaroa Group? Yeah, I think I've heard of them somewhere before. It's a major pharmaceutical corporation. Sells all kinds of pills and poisons. Ooh. Interesting. Oh yeah! That new Cold Killer Pro has been making some real waves since it went on sale. We know Cold Killer Pro. Phoenix took it when he had a really bad cold and then got framed for murder by his shitty girlfriend, who was the bad twin in his really awkward relationship, and he wasn't really dating her most of the time. He's actually dating the good twin. I really want to know what's going to happen to that ship. Like, I know she went to prison, but she's got to get out for good time at some point, right? Are they gonna... They had such a cute story. It can't just end there. I need to know. I know he has Trucy now, but like, come on. I always reach for a cold killer when I'm feeling under the weather. Which is never as far as I've seen. I'd like to hear more about the Tangaroa Group, if you don't mind. Tell me more about this pharmaceutical company. So, did Mr. Tangaroa not want to take over for his parents and go into the family business?
No, he preferred the idea of making people's lives better through the power of confectionery. His parents supported him in his quest to become the best in the world. Then, when they passed away, he inherited the cookbook.
But why would he make such a valuable heirloom a mere contest prize?
He's been hounded by so many people looking to make that book their own. He was tired of it. But it would have been an insult to his parents' memory simply to give it away.
Ah, and we know that it's worth a lot of money and somebody's hard up for cash. Okay. We have two people here under false pretenses. Hers was supposedly that she was a big fan of Tangaroa, but she is clearly working for pharmaceutical companies who we know from real life tend to be evil. So, wouldn't be surprised if there's evil companies in this world too. Probably a rival company, I would assume. So... there's something here. And potentially here. We need more info about him. I know he's like almost dead so right now, but like... Alright, we're cooking, we're still cooking.
So he decided to find somebody he felt was worthy of it.
I'll bet the board of directors love that. Handing over the fruits of all their expensive research to someone else.
They hated the idea, of course, but it's why Delisha entered the contest.
Never mind, she's from the same company, but they're by the board of directors.
The Tangaroa group wanted her to win the book back for them.
So you knew she was a pharmacist all along?
Yes, and not only that, I told her how to appeal to Samson's taste. I tried to help her win.
That's why they're friends now. Okay. Alright, so in this contest, she's the plant working for Tangaroa Group, being helped by Judy Bound, right? And Frost and Gusteau are very clearly also working together, and being supported by the same person to get through the contest because their shit tastes the same. And honestly, it does actually look the same. It may be differently themed, but it does look the same. And it should not. Like, those roses? Everybody's roses look a little bit different. Those look exactly the fucking same. And who else is gonna come up with these kind of decorations? Like, they make sense here. Phoenix Firebird. Yeah, sure, that makes sense. But, like, dicing up your... They look like radishes. I think they're supposed to be apples, honestly. Like, if you want to, like, make this fruit-themed, those should be apples, but they look like... They look like radishes, honestly. But anyway, this serves no purpose here. And why?
I wanted to protect Samson by protecting the Tangaroa group. If that cookbook fell into another company's hands, the board would never forgive him. So I wanted to find a way to keep it with the company, but in a way that Samson couldn't object to.
That's how Miss Scone managed to make it so far in the contest she had no business taking part in. Yeah, that checks out. That explains a lot about Bound and Scone both. Okay. As well as why they're such fast friends in the present, right? Yeah, that explains that. But Miss Scone wasn't the only one pretending, was she? Mr. Frost wasn't really a confectioner either. And he still made it all the way to the final, just like she did. Not bad.
Yes, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Such a talented sculptor and a gifted crafter of desserts, too.
Gifted indeed, judging by the standard of his work in the final. How did one man produce pieces of that size and quality in such a short period of time? Get help.
I'm not sure I have much more to tell you. But if there's anything else I can help you with, I'd be happy to, of course.
She's certainly very keen to ensure that she does all she can for Mr. Tangaroa. Certainly use a cup of the tea you made us yesterday, if you wouldn't mind. I think that might help move the investigation along nicely.
Oh, I'll have some too. Your tea is to die for, Miss Bound. Well, how could I possibly refuse? I'll bring it right out.
You know, I think that cheered her up a little. Alright, learned a little more about the contest participants. But there's still one question involving Mr. Gusteau for which we never got an answer. Nothing at all, Mr. Gusteau? You went into Mr. Frost's room, did you? Perhaps you could tell us why. Sure, I was... Silence! You are not to give the attorney even the tiniest shred of information. What was he doing in Mr. Frost's room? That's not all. I also have questions about the work he submitted for the semifinals. A confectioner who admits to lacking design sense and a sculptor with it in spades. Mr. Gusteau could not have hoped to win such a high-level contest by himself. They were working in cahoots for whatever reason. This is why I'm beginning to wonder if there was some sort of connection between him and Mr. Frost. I'm pretty sure they were working together. For whatever reason, I don't know. What we need to know is who was backing them. Because clearly, Frost was hard up for cash, so he'd work for whoever. But who hired him? Detective. I need to ask Mr. Gusteau a few more questions. His story still doesn't quite add up for me. Me neither. I need to figure out how to get in touch with him. No, do you now? Uh-oh, shit! Busted! Fuck. Good luck with that, because I've no intention of allowing it. Mr. Von Karma. I'm already in the midst of my own investigation into Gusteau, so there's no need for the likes of you to pester him with the same questions again. I will, however, be happy to answer any questions you might have. He seems dead set on preventing me from talking to Mr. Gusteau. In which case, fine, then allow me to take you up on your offer. Very well, what is it? I'd like you to tell me about the connection between Mr. Gusteau and Mr. Frost. Oh! Testimony, huh? Alright, let's do it. Gusteau and Frost connection. Connection between Gusteau and Frost. It was simply a matter of coincidence. They both happened to be taking part in the same contest. Fucking bullshit, and you know it. Oh my god, that's all? That's all he gave us to work with? That's all? That's all I have to say to you. What? That doesn't help us at all! Eddie, we just gotta rebuttal him. It's fine. I have to confront him with evidence if we want to draw the truth out of him. It's imperative that we do. He's clearly hiding something. Alright, press him first. Press this man. Yes, there must have been a connection of some kind. And if you would cease your baseless interruptions, I will happily tell you what it is. I swore a courtroom I would have you removed for contempt. But isn't that solely the judge's purview? Yeah, a Judge Von Karma would probably have dancing to his tune. It's true, he is scary for the poor judge that we know. What? Even judges are scared of him? Yeah, it's really sad. Hey, he means well though, and he still gets there in the end. It just, we got, as Phoenix, we gotta help him along a lot. Won't be an easy trial, that's for sure. Please, Mr. Von Karma, continue. He says it's a quinky dink. Granted, it may have simply been a coincidence that they both entered the same competition, but that doesn't rule out a connection of some other kind between the two of them. I do hate to repeat myself, but if you do not have any pertinent evidence, then kindly keep your mouth shut. Guess I'll just do as he says for now. At least until I find the evidence that proves Mr. Gusteau and Mr. Frost's connection. Still, the look in your eyes speaks volumes. Well, go on then. What are you trying to say? Make up your mind, will you? Should I keep my mouth shut or not? Seems Mr. Von Karma is keen to keeping us away from the truth. Which means the truth must be inconvenient to him somehow, right? Mr. Gusteau and Mr. Frost had something in common. Just need to present the thing they shared to Mr. Von Karma. Well, there's only two to choose from. It's probably this one. Alright. Their connection, I believe... I do want to look at this. Yeah, it's the before and after. Wait a minute. The box is missing. Where did this go? It's not intentional if this is like just straight up gone, or accidental. Judy was saying that she accidentally unplugged it, which, if it's a power strip, that could happen, especially if you didn't fucking tape this down with gaff, as you should. But this being gone, that can't be removed by accident. No, I don't believe it. Anyway, the thing they have in common, the fact that their shit looks fucking the same.
Objection!
I wonder if you could take a look at the two confections in the foreground for me, Mr. Von Karma. They were made for the contest semifinals. Both are quite exquisitely crafted, wouldn't you agree? Ha! Get to the point! As the nameplate suggests, these were Mr. Gusteau and Mr. Frost's entries. Mr. Gusteau told us that confectionery design was far from his strong suit. And yet his work in the picture is just as good as Mr. Frost's. Exactly as good, in fact. We learned from another witness that their two entries also tasted exactly the same.
Objection!
What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that they were helping one another out. Let's take a closer look, shall we? While at first glance the two may appear to be superficially different, it soon becomes apparent that there are significant similarities in how they were put together. They're made of the same ingredients, taste the same, and share a similar design aesthetic. I'm glad he caught on to it. The aesthetic being exactly the fucking same is really weird. This picture is proof positive that the two were working together. If you figured out that much, then I suppose there's one little point in denying it. Ah, so you already knew. Mr. Von Karma knew all along that they were cooperating. But I'll warn you, none of what you're about to hear will be to your advantage. Gusteau and Frost's real connection. Let me confirm what you seem so desperate to prove. Gusteau and Frost were indeed working together. Gusteau spelled out the details of his relationship to Frost during his questioning last night. It seems they were helping one another right up until the day before the final. Day before? So you knew that the two were cooperating? Mr. Von Karma, why are you trying to bury the truth?
Objection!
Please, enough with the petty slander. Merely wanted to avoid you poking your nose around before I could provide proper context in court. It simply slipped my mind to explain that to you. It doesn't explain why he's being so slippery with the facts, though. I need to figure out what it is he's hiding. I can't let things end like this. We know he's just gonna forge evidence, but it's like, I would like to find out the real truth before he does that. Alright, anyway. Press everything! So you did know that there was a connection between the two. How are you trying to hide it? I don't just hand out information like candy, and it's certainly not the defense. Not like that lollipop nursing fool of a detective over there. Hey! You do things your way, and I'll do them mine. Leave him alone. He's a nice man. And you wonder why I refuse to share information with a traitor like you. Gusteau spilled the beans. Last night, after Mr. Frost's work melted, of course. Yes, I interviewed Gusteau personally. Yeesh! One-on-one with Mr. Von Karma. That must have been terrifying. Imagine Mr. Gusteau probably meditated his way through the difficult parts. Most certainly did not. Every time he closed his eyes, I brought him back with an almighty snap. No one dares to plead the fifth with me. That even work on him? That is how I was able to perfectly learn every last detail of Gusteau and Frost's relationship. Bullshit. Right until the day before the final. What do you mean by that? Provide me more context if you don't mind. But why were they cooperating? Gusteau's sense of design is subpar, and Frost was an amateur confectioner at best. Neither of them stood a chance of making it through the contest alone. So what was their endgame? Why cooperate only until the day before the finals? Gusteau claims to have ended the scheme. Allegedly, he wanted to win the final on his own merits. His one and only goal really was to be crowned the world's best confectioner. His pride would not allow him to do so with the help of another. Fair? Still suspicious, but fair. Cheaters could only ever win hollow victories, I guess. I was under the impression that their collaboration has only lasted through the semifinals. I'm starting to think it might have lasted up until the final. It's up through the final itself. Yeah, that's why Gusto was in there. Mr. Von Karma, I'd like to ask you some more about how long they worked together for, if you don't mind. Huh, if you must. Yep. That design subpar and Frost is an amateur confectioner at best, yeah. Cooperated until the day before the final and then decided to compete on their own merits. Okay. You really believe that they were cooperating until the day before the finals and then just simply stopped? That seems a little strange to me, wouldn't you agree? I've told you the truth. Whether you find it strange or not is none of my concern. He was concerned enough to try to hide it from me only a few minutes ago, though. Which means there must have been a reason for that. Based on Mr. Tangaroa's assessment, it sounded as if Mr. Frost's entry for the final was the clear winner. Which means you must have still been working with Mr. Gusto, right? That's precisely what I was thinking. That's just some evidence that proves they were cooperating right up through the finals. Alright. Okay, we gotta present something. I need something that shows that they tasted the same. Frost blood was found in the fountain, but not the crime scene. Frost sculptures were scrumptious. Except the lyre, which was salty. I guess that we might be able to use that to pull in Tangaroa's statement. I don't know. I'm gonna go with this. I feel like we can use this to pull out everything we know from what Scone and Tangaroa have said. Because she said everything was tasty but the lyre. And then Tangaroa said the lyre tasted exactly the same as Gusto's work. So, alright. Let's go with this.
Objection.
Good call, me. They weren't working together during the finals. I find that a little hard to believe. Miss Scone is on record of having described Mr. Frost's creations as scrumptious. And while he was certainly skilled, I doubt even he could have become a world-class confectioner overnight. It seems far more likely to me that he and Mr. Gusto were still cooperating during the finals. How many times must I explain this to you? Assertions require proof, and one person's entirely subjective statement is not proof of anything. Besides, even amateurs can occasionally make delicious food. Perhaps Frost was simply lucky. My wife, for example, is an amateur whose cooking puts first-class chefs to shame. Was that not an entirely subjective statement? Furthermore, you are ignoring another crucial part of the pharmacist's testimony. Namely that she also describes some of Frost's work as having been unbearably salty. In other words, your evidence actually shows that Frost failed to produce the perfect confectionery. Actually, that's very related to what information I have. No more objections, I take it. Come on, Edgy, you just gotta think a little bit longer. Like, go one or two more steps more further. You got this, buddy. Must be some way I can prove that Gusto and Frost were still collaborating. Mystery? There's something that's been on my mind. Yes, what is it, Eddie? Mr. Frost's entry for the finals. Wouldn't it have taken a while to make? I'd imagine so. Making flavored water, freezing it all, and then carving 2 whole sculptures? Could he really have done all that and helped Mr. Gusteau with his work? If it was me, and I'd barely gotten as far as the setting the flavored water up to the freeze part. I just can't see how Mr. Frost could have pulled it off. Perhaps there's some lawyerly instinct in you after all, Eddie. Your ponderings certainly point to another possibility. Eddie's right. Mr. Frost would have needed to freeze his own large blocks of flavored ice to create his art. And there wouldn't have been time to do that during the contest itself. So what must Mr. Frost have done in order to finish his flavored ice entry within the time limit? Make the ice the day before the final, make the ice the day of the final, make it out of something else entirely. They would have had to do it the day before, maybe? Or it's not ice. But she said it was tasty, except for the liar. But what else could be tasty? We'll go the day before and see where that leads us. Must have made the flavored ice the day before. Then all it would have done is sculpt it. What are you muttering about now? Oh, I'm sorry. I just realized something, that's all. I realized that you're correct. What? Mr. E? I hope you know what you're doing. Oh, accepting defeat at last, are we? The only thing I'm accepting is that perhaps one of the things you said was true. They were helping one another right up until the day before the final. Just as you said, the day before the final really did mark the end of their collaboration. Mr. Frost's entry was carved entirely from blocks of flavored ice. Ice which would have needed at least a day to freeze, and whose flavors would therefore have already been prepared by Mr. Gusteau. Huh. Yes, which lines up perfectly with what Gusteau told me, that he helped Frost until the day before the final. In that case, why didn't Mr. Frost reciprocate and help Mr. Gusteau in return? I can hardly be expected to read the minds of the dead. Perhaps not, but I can imagine Mr. Gusteau could tell us, so why don't you let us speak with him? Or do you still insist your interrogation was as thorough as you claim? How dare you call my methods into question? That's not my intention. I just don't understand why you would obstruct a perfectly valid line of inquiry. Give me one good reason as to why you're keeping Mr. Gusteau from me. One good reason, certainly. How and why Frost and Gusteau's collaboration have absolutely no bearing on this case. How can you possibly say that with any certainty? If their relationship had broken down for some reason, that could very well have been the motive behind this murder. Could it indeed? And why did Gusteau himself tell me all about it? Why did the man you seem so keen on accusing share the details of his collaboration with the prosecution? Good point. Please tell me of some proof to back up your preposterous suspicions this time. Yeah, I kind of wish I did, but I don't, so... Mr. Gusteau only acted suspiciously one time that we know of. And I imagine Mr. Von Karma is aware of exactly what that suspicious action was. Which means this is probably a trap. Heh. Well, cat got your tongue. But even if this is a trap, I can't back down now. I can't over pour myself a little more tea. Hold on. Mr. Gusteau snuck into Frost's room, and we still don't know why. That fact alone is reason enough to suspect him. That's your only concern, then allow me to clear it up for you. I knew it. It was a trap. I was saving this for the trial, but considered a taste of things to come. Plus, I'd hate for the proceedings to drag on because of your needless interjections. Here, take a look at this. Oh, what is this? They know each other. That's... Stowe and Frost. And their sons? Stowe and Frost and their sons. Their kids go to school together? Oh, shit. Photo of Frost, Gusteau, and their sons. Gusteau's son visited his father daily up through the semi-final. Interesting. Is maybe his son the one who's good at doing shit aesthetically? No, because they were working together. Okay. But Artie's son, Artie Frost, he could be the one who's dead in the present. Because they could look the same. They could be styled the same. The plot thickens. Gusteau snuck into Frost's room in order to retrieve this photograph. But why? It seems our sons attended the same elementary school. Gusteau was concerned that the fact Mr. Frost and his acquaintance might place him under undue suspicion. That checks out. Concern that you have just proved was entirely well-founded. Yeah, you're right. Gusteau's actions make perfect sense, and you have given me no reason to believe otherwise. Ugh! Damn. He got us. He's never gonna let me talk to Mr. Gusteau. Now, if you are quite done obstructing my investigation, I have things to be getting on with. That smug, self-righteous jerk! I'll give him something to be getting on with. What do we do, Mr. E? Mr. Tangaroa's finished if we can't figure something out. Yeah, I don't have enough evidence yet. Things to be getting on with. What exactly could those things be? He has a body, a murder weapon, and a suspect in custody. Oh, he's gonna forge evidence. Oh, that bastard. We know what we know how he works. The prosecution means to pursue Mr. Tangaroa. Surely they have all the info they need? So why is Mr. Von Karma still investigating the scene of the crime? Something on your mind, Mr. E? Missing something. Something important. Mr. Von Karma has everything he needs to proceed with the prosecution of Mr. Tangaroa. He probably actually has additional evidence that points to his innocence, but he doesn't want that because he wants a beautifully clean conviction, for his prosecution record. So he's probably gonna forge something. Yet, he still doesn't seem entirely confident of his case. If he was, why refuse to share information with Detective Bad? Some of it would probably point away from Tangaroa. Who else? Haven't seen the autopsy report yet either. Guy's probably got a hand in that too. No autopsy report. 24 hours post-murder and there's still no autopsy report. Oh, he's gonna forge it. Oh, wait, hold on. Theory that he's not actually dead yet is, or that it's not Artie who's dead. Still Liz. Could have faked his murder. Alright. That was a crackpot theory, but like, here we go. It hasn't been disproven yet. In addition, we still haven't solved the mystery of what happened to the evidence that went missing. Oh, that I know what happened to that. They threw that into the river. Take another look at the scene in front of us, Detective. A very conspicuous pool of blood that should be here is clearly missing. Now we know where that is. That one in the river. Yeah. You're right. Don't remember anybody mentioning they'd remove the blood along with the body. Evidence that turned up not in Mr. Tangaroa's room, but in a most unusual place. To match the blood in the fountain. It's Frost. Frost blood was detected in the water of the fountain. Yeah, we know that that's... Just all you gotta do is like lump the chocolate in the river and then let it disintegrate in there. So there were no traces of Mr. Frost's blood left in Mr. Tangaroa's room, yet we found some in the fountain instead. Why? Because they're connected. We know that. Alright. Please connect these already. Mr. Frost's blood went missing from the crime scene. The traces of it showed up in the fountain. Why Why go to the trouble of removing the blood from the scene after the body had been discovered? That is a good question. That's odd. Why only the blood? Surely the body would have also been in the way? Wait. Could someone have moved the body aside to get to the blood? Someone moved the body aside in order to get to the blood that was in the chest. I mean, that's all I got to work with. So is it making the autopsy report inconclusive? Was the cause of death not what we actually thought it was? So the body might have been moved aside, or even removed from the scene of the crime entirely. After all, as far as we know, there's still no autopsy report. We've learned plenty about the murder weapon and the suspect, but very little about the body itself. What if it's missing because he's not really dead? Our assumption thus far has been that the body had been recovered by the forensics team. What if that assumption is false? What if Mr. Von Karma wouldn't show Detective Bad the autopsy report out of something other than spite? What if we've been thinking about this the wrong way around all along? The question isn't why did Mr. Von Karma hold back information about the body? It's did Mr. Von Karma even have any information about the body in the first place? How do things look from that angle? Perhaps the body hadn't been removed by the police in order to carry out an autopsy. Perhaps it had already been removed and hidden away by the culprit before their arrival. Or it got up and walked away because he's not dead. Sorry, just light thoughts. Mr. E? Both heard the rumors about Mr. Von Karma's questionable methods. Fabricated witness statements, shady deals, forged evidence even. Sure, everybody's heard of that stuff, but what's that got to do with us right now? Would never judge a person on the basis of rumors alone. Mr. Von Karma. Tried my best not to let my preconceptions color our interactions with him. Nonetheless, it appears he may indeed be willing to twist the truth to his own ends. Twist the truth? I mean, he's been playing dirty? Fear he might have been, and still is. And I'm not about to let him get away with it. I'm returning to the prosecutor's office. Don't breathe a word about anything to that infernal attorney. Yes, sir!
Hold it!
Stop that man. Yes, what is it now? I have a few questions, Mr. Von Karma, about a certain fact that you've been keeping from us. Really? You mean to call the methods of an officially sanctioned investigation into question yet again? I'm warning you, if you obstruct the police in their work any further, there will be consequences.
Objection.
It's not the police I have an issue with, Mr. Von Karma. It's you. What? Isn't it on the prosecution to work out who the real culprit of a crime is? What foolishness is this? I have no intention of debating what the prosecution's role is or is not with the likes of you. But let me make one thing clear. My job is to identify suspects and ensure that every last one of them is convicted at all costs. Believe me when I say I leave absolutely no room for doubt when I present my perfect, unassailable cases.
Objection.
Yeah, that's why we hate you, though. And how far would you go for your perfect cases? Would you rate facts out of whole cloth, perhaps? Ha! And I thought you had done yourself already, but now you intend to accuse me of fabricating evidence? Oh, we already know that you do. I do. Because it is why you've done nothing but hinder Detective Bad from doing his job at every turn. What are you talking about? You didn't shut him out of the investigation because you wanted him to keep an eye on us. You did it to stop him from finding out that you don't have the body. What? He doesn't have the body?
Objection.
Ridiculous, you're clutching at straws. I will tolerate no more of your preposterous slander. Then allow us to examine it. Prove me wrong if you can. I'm afraid you'll have to try a little harder than that.
I'm under no obligation whatsoever to prove your baseless accusations one way or another.
Objection.
As you must have seen for yourself, a piece of bloody chocolate is missing from the scene of the crime. Why did it disappear and where did it go? What does it matter? Some blood went missing from the chest where the body was found. So what? So what indeed? It's precisely my question. If the body was still at the scene when the police got here, removing the blood would accomplish nothing. However, just suppose for a moment that the body was not. If someone had wanted to erase any trace of what had happened in that room, then it all makes perfect sense. What is this petty obsession with the blood stain? But since it's so important to you, why don't you tell me where you believe it went? I believe it got dunked in the river and then went out of the fountain. Of course. After all, evidence is everything, as you never tire of telling us. I believe this should back up my theory quite nicely. What evidence do I have that shows where the blood from Mr. Tangaroa's room went? Cross blood was found in the fountain, but not at the scene of the crime. There we go, that's what we need. Traces of the victim's blood were found in the fountain, along with traces of the chocolate from Mr. Tangaroa's room. I believe the missing piece of blood-stained chocolate was dumped into the stream that flows to the fountain, which strongly points towards one certain fact. Someone purposefully disposed of the blood after the body had been removed from the chest. Ugh. Mr. Von Karma, where did you find the body? You didn't find it, did you? Answer me. Phew. Where did you get your hands on that kind of evidence? You have neither the authority nor the means to carry out that kind of analysis on the fountain water. No, but I do. Curse you, bad! You've been a thorn in my side from the moment you were assigned! But no longer. As of now, you are officially off the case. I was barely on it in the first place. Mr. Von Karma, still haven't answered my question. Will you admit it? Will you confirm that no body was ever recovered? It's really quite the claim, you know, and one for which you'll never find any proof for, I'm afraid. What must I do to get an answer out of him? He's off to forge an autopsy report, this fucking bastard. Now, if you don't mind, I have given you quite enough of my precious time already. I look forward to destroying you in court, Gregory Edgeworth. Your precious logic and theories won't save you then. Nothing will. We did kind of show our hand on what angle we're gonna go with in court, so he has time to forge the correct evidence that he needs to beat us, so that sucks. Mark my words, Mr. Von Karma, your methods will be your undoing. Later, by another attorney, who is friends with your son, who will be accused of murder. This is a whole thing. Thanks, Ace Attorney Universe. No matter how you tried to hide the truth, I'll bring it all to light in the end. Forgive me, Detective. I didn't mean to put you in a difficult position. Don't sweat it. It's always gonna end this way. Honestly, nobody's ever sidelined me the way he did before. First time for everything, huh? You know, think you might be right about the body being missing. I am, and I'll prove it in court. But, you know he's gonna forge shit. He knows that we know, so now he has to go make some shit up. Heh. If there's anything I can do to help, just say the word. Since, you know, I'm off the case now. It's very kind, and I'm sorry to keep asking favors of you, Detective Bad. But there is one more thing. Hey, what are you guys whispering about? Come on, let me in on the secret! Sorry, excuse me, hold on. Alright, Eddie. The detective and I were just arranging a little insurance for the trial. I think we have enough to see Mr. Tangaroa acquitted, but I'd prefer to have an ace in the hole, just in case. And what is it?
You'll find out in the courtroom.
Wait, what? You're letting me join you?
Of course I am. You're my assistant, after all.
Ha! I'll be more than that by next year. I'll be a full-fledged attorney, you know. We can take on Mr. Von Karma together.
Indeed. Well, I'm hoping we'll have freed Mr. Tangaroa by then. But if we're up against Mr. Von Karma, I guess we can't rule out the possibility that this might take some time.
Right, but we'll do everything we can in the meantime. I know you can beat Mr. Von Karma, Mr. E. I believe in you.
Can't allow Mr. Tangaroa to remain in prison for a crime he didn't commit. We won't. Expose Mr. Von Karma's lies if it's the last thing I do. Oof, to be continued. Damn. Alright. I want to keep going. I do. I swear I do. But... hold on. I do want to keep going, but... I said short stream today. 3 hours tops, so... that is where we shall end for the evening. We're gonna have to pick this up next week. TDQ week, we got some stuff to do, so... it kind of be like that sometimes. Alright, so let us... we're gonna go. Let's go over here. Weep. And let me close the game on my side. Oh, hold up. Exit. Okay. Alrighty, thank y'all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Thank you everybody who came by today. Ace Attorney is always a really good time. I'm really enjoying this case. I'm having a good time trying to figure out what's going on. And I just realized, looking at like the title picture for this game, Emma's in it. And I haven't seen Emma yet, so I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, we will pick this up next week. We'll do our normal stream times, I think. Hopefully. I don't think any... as far as I'm currently aware, we don't have anything going on next week, and there's nothing going on in the world next week that would cause me to need to end earlier, so we'll see. But for now, thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks to everybody who came by, lurkers, chatters, future VoD watchers. Appreciate you all. Let's go raid Black Bear, who's playing Earth Defense Force. He's a mod of our stream, and a friend. So we shall go say hello. Alright, not Black Bear 86. Okay, go say hi, spread love, spread joy. I'll see you guys. I don't think we're raiding tomorrow. Monday? Monday for Deep Dungeon? Probably. I don't know if we're gonna do something tomorrow instead of raiding, but we'll see. We'll figure it out. Anyway, have a good night, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see y'all at the latest on Monday for some deep hungers. Okay? Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.